Hi, today we're going to address the question, why are my loops not round? The tools you're going to need are, of course, your round nose pliers, a flush cutter, and may or may not need a chain nose plier. I am using a 6mm bead as a measuring tool, and I'll show you that later. So firstly, how to do it correctly, you need to remember two things. Firstly, thread in your bead. Okay, the first thing you're going to need to remember is to bend this wire at a 90 degrees angle. When you bend, make sure that there's no gap here. And if, let's say, your wires are a little harder or your fingers are tired after doing this a few times, you can use a chain nose plier to help you bend down the wire. Now I'm using my 6mm bead as a measuring tool. I'm putting this in here, and then when you cut, make sure that you're using the flush end and not the divot end here. If you cut it this way, you'll get a sharp end. So make sure that it's flush to your bead, your measuring tool here. Hold on to this wire here and then cut. Hold on, because it might fly off otherwise. This is what you can discard. And now what it leaves you with is this consistent length. If you keep on using the same measuring tool all the time, this will get you around 8mm all the time. Yeah, so I've already pre-measured this on my pliers, and this where I marked with a Sharpie here, this is where I need to place the wire on my pliers to make the loop. So now number two to remember, first thing to remember is to bend it down 90 degrees and make sure that there's no gaps. Second thing to remember to do is make sure that the wire is flushed to the plier end. See this, don't leave a tail like that. This thing, we don't want this. How to do that is to hold it against your finger like that. Take your pliers and press it against your finger so that the wire and your pliers are flush together, so you don't have any tail ends here. Okay, no tail ends, see? So now in one motion, turn as far as you can until your wrist can't turn anymore, and then this is where my wrist can't turn anymore. I will reposition my pliers without moving out from the same spot, and then I will turn all the way in until the end. So there you'll get a nice round loop that is closed into the edge like that. Okay, now I'm going to quickly show you what happens when you don't bend 90 degrees. I'm going to cut around the 8mm mark here. So now if I don't bend but I still flush the wire to my pliers, I'm going to end up with a letter P. See? I end up with the letter P. What happens when you do this is that physics will tell you that your item will hang from this side. I can't show you from a camera, but it will not hang straight. Whereas because this is round and centered, your hanging point will be here. When you hang from, say, your ear wires, this is where it will hang from. Whereas this one, it will hang from this end, not the center. It will hang around here because of gravity. Just you can give it a try and you'll see what I mean. So this is what you get, a P, if you flush it but you don't bend it at 90 degrees. What happens when you don't do both? You don't bend and you don't flush your pliers to the wire. See, I'm not flushing this in and I'm just bending. You'll end up with a look like this, that loop. Sometimes this also happens when you don't use a proper round nose pliers. This could also happen when you're using chain nose pliers, and yes, I have seen some people using chain nose pliers to make loops instead. So I hope those are tips that you can follow through, and I hope this has been a useful video for you. Thanks.